Have you ever looked at your garden and wondered, why is my neighbour's garden absolutely thriving, while my eggplant seems to be completely sulking? If so, this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about the true aristocrats of the vegetable world, those 5 notoriously tricky plants that challenge even the most experienced gardeners. But don't worry, we're not just here to complain. We'll reveal the secrets to mastering them and getting that fantastic harvest that's truly worth the effort. In reality, their fussiness is simply a matter of not meeting their specific needs. These plants are like demanding celebrities with their riders. They require pinpoint accuracy when it comes to their needs. They need precise temperature, humidity, and nutrients. Our job is simply to read that rider carefully and meet its demands, and then they'll reward us handsomely. All right, kicking off our list is His Majesty, the eggplant, a true drama king in the garden. If vegetables had a theatre, he'd definitely be playing Hamlet. This guy is a real heat seeker, a true southerner at heart. He absolutely adores warmth. Picture a tourist on a 5-star beach holiday. That's him. For him, anything below 18 degrees Celsius, about 64 degrees Celsius, is practically winter. Growth slows right down, and his mood just plummets. But he hates drafts even more. Any cold breeze is a massive stressor for an eggplant. In response to such disrespect, he can easily drop all his flowers and budding fruits. It's like he's saying, I refuse to work under these conditions. But the biggest mistake many people make is with watering. Never, you hear me, never water eggplants with cold water straight from the hose. For his sensitive, heat-loving roots, it's like giving him an ice bath. The roots go into shock and stop absorbing nutrients, even if the soil is full of them. The water must be lukewarm. Left to stand, ideally around 25 degrees Celsius, about 77 degrees. Otherwise, you risk encountering his main enemy, blackleg disease. This is when the base of the stem, right at the soil line, turns black and thin. The seedling just collapses, and it's practically impossible to save. The simple cause? Cold and overwatered soil. See how one simple watering mistake can wipe out all your hard work. So what should you do? Create resort-like conditions for him. Eggplants feel best in a greenhouse, or at least under temporary film cover. Use only warm water for irrigation, and make sure the soil around the roots doesn't turn into a swamp. A little attention to his specific demands, and this demanding king will reward you with gorgeous, shiny fruit. Next on our list is its close relative, the bell pepper. This plant is just as fond of comfort and warmth as the eggplant. It also can't stand cold nights or drafts, but its main weakness is its sensitivity to stress. Imagine an actor who forgets their lines if someone coughs in the audience. That's your bell pepper. Did it suddenly get cold? Did you forget to water on time? Or did you overwater the bed instead? In response to stress like that, it does the one thing that drives gardeners crazy. It simply drops all its flowers and future fruit. It's like it's saying, conditions aren't right. I'm closing for the season. This is precisely why many people get lots of flowers on their peppers, but very few fruits actually set. The plant is just playing it safe. Now let's bust a popular myth. Many believe it's nearly impossible to grow truly fleshy, thick-walled peppers, like the ones you see in pictures outside of southern regions, that this is something only possible in warmer climates. That's simply not true. The secret to thick walls isn't so much in the variety, but in consistency. Bell peppers are incredibly thirsty plants, real water hogs. To form juicy, fleshy fruit, they need plenty of moisture, and they need it constantly. If you water them only occasionally, they might set fruit, but it will be thin and dry. They need steady, regular watering with warm water. And of course, the right nutrients, especially potassium, which is responsible for sweetness and wall thickness. So growing bell peppers isn't so much about dealing with a demanding plant, as it is about your commitment to consistency. Be a reliable partner for your peppers, and they will reward you with a harvest that's crisp like an apple. Meet Cauliflower, the real princess and the pea of our garden. Unlike eggplant and peppers, which are relatively happy if you just give them warm, southern conditions, this particular vegetable is a different story. This demanding diva requires absolute precision and stability in everything. There's virtually no margin for error. Its main nemesis is temperature fluctuation. It truly dislikes both excessive heat and cold intensely. The sweet spot for ideal growth is a narrow range between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius. If temperatures soar too high, say above 30 degrees, it simply refuses to form a proper head. Instead, it quickly grows a loose, unimpressive bouquet and bolts to seed. Game over for your harvest. The same unfortunate outcome occurs if it gets too cold, particularly at the seedling stage. If young cauliflower experiences a prolonged cold spell, it decides it's time to reproduce immediately. It will bolt and flower without ever developing that desirable tight head. But wait, there's more. Cauliflower is also a real gourmet when it comes to soil. It absolutely requires perfectly balanced soil conditions. It's incredibly sensitive to micronutrient deficiencies, particularly boron and molybdenum. Without these vital elements, the heads will be deformed, loose, marked with brown streaks, or might not even form at all. So, the main secret to successfully growing this finicky princess is getting the timing right and providing constant care. In temperate climates, the best strategy is usually to plant either very early, so the heads mature before the intense summer heat, or in the latter half of summer, timing the harvest for the cooler autumn weather. And of course, consistent feeding with micronutrients is non-negotiable. Do all this, and instead of disappointment, you'll be rewarded with dense, perfectly white, and incredibly tasty cauliflower heads from your garden. Let's move on to the real marathon runner of our garden beds, celeriac, or root celery. While the previous vegetables demanded immediate attention, this guy really tests our patience and endurance. Its growing season from sprouting to harvest can last up to 200 days. Just imagine, it grows for almost half a year. Over this time, it gets to see everything: spring frosts, summer heat waves, and autumn rains. And the main challenge in growing it is keeping it happy and thriving throughout this long distance. This long duration is exactly why many people fail with it. It's easy to think, I planted it indoors in February, transplanted it outside in May, and now I can forget about it until autumn. But that's the biggest mistake. Celeriac is an absolute moisture lover. Its Latin name even hints at this. It basically translates to smelly, growing in a swamp. Of course, we don't need a swamp in our garden bed, but this detail reveals its main secret. The soil around it needs to be constantly evenly moist, not soggy, but consistently damp. If you let the soil dry out and then flood it, the root bulb will start to crack. If it constantly lacks moisture, instead of a large, juicy sphere, in the autumn you'll dig up a small, hard and very bearded root with lots of side roots. All the plant's energy will go into these side roots searching for water instead of developing the main root bulb. The most common problem is celeriac simply refusing to grow a proper root bulb. Instead of a large, smooth ball underground, you get a lush beard of tiny roots, and all its energy goes into the greenery. Why does this happen? The secret lies in its very specific drinking regime. The main secret for success in growing it is mulching. As soon as the celeriac is established and starts growing, cover the soil around it with a thick layer of mown grass, straw, or compost. Mulch will preserve precious moisture, suppress weeds, and maintain a stable soil temperature. This is the key hack that lets you get weighty, smooth root bulbs, even without constant daily watering. And now, for the ultimate challenge for many home gardeners, the true symbol of hot summer, the watermelon. Growing one in a cooler climate is an accomplishment in itself, but cultivating a truly sweet, juicy, sugary one, that's mastering the art. What it needs most is sun and heat, lots of sun, and plenty of warmth. The watermelon hails from the scorching African desert, and in our climate, it frankly finds things a bit too cold and overcast. That's why the best place for it is a greenhouse, or at the very least, the sunniest spot you have, well sheltered from the wind. Its second crucial need is space. Watermelon vines spread out like ambitious tentacles, covering several meters. They need plenty of room to roam freely on the ground, soaking up the sun. But even with ample sun and space, you might still end up with no harvest. The reason is often a bit tricky. In our climate, there's frequently a lack of pollinating insects, especially when it's cloudy. Bees and bumblebees just don't venture out. Without pollination, that female flower, the one with the tiny melon already attached, will just turn yellow and fall off. And this is where you step in as the bee. Sometimes you'll need to hand-pollinate your watermelons. It's actually quite simple. Find a male flower. You can spot it by its plain stem. No bulge at the base. Carefully pick it, strip off the petals, and gently touch its pollen-covered anthers to the centre of the female flower. Do this in the morning on a sunny day. It might sound a little strange, but this simple act is your guarantee that the tiny fruit won't wither. Instead, it will start to grow into a big, sweet melon. That's the key to successfully growing watermelons in a climate that isn't naturally scorching hot. So what's the main secret behind all these high-maintenance vegetables? The secret is surprisingly simple, and it's all about geography. Almost all of them are native southerners. Eggplants and peppers originate in humid, hot tropics. Cauliflower comes from the warm Mediterranean, and watermelon is a visitor from the scorching African desert. They're all genetically programmed for long, warm summers, plenty of sun, and stable conditions. Now here's the crucial point. We're trying to grow them in a climate that feels like the extreme north to them. That's why our main task isn't to fight the plant, but to recreate a piece of their native environment as accurately as possible. It's not just watering, but giving them specifically warm water. Instead of just planting them in soil, prepare loose, nutrient-rich soil. Beyond just waiting for a harvest, assist with pollination and shield them from sudden temperature changes. All this secret care isn't magic. It's simply smart compensation for our climate. So as you can see, the most demanding vegetables aren't difficult plants. They're just very particular. Once you understand their southern origin, you can provide them with exactly what they need and achieve a harvest your neighbours will envy. Thank you for watching this video until the end. If you learned something new and useful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new tips for your garden and vegetable patch. And which vegetable has been the biggest challenge for you personally? Share your story in the comments below. Let's discuss.